Hey, what's going on, guys? It's iBetter, and today we are back with some more Banebush, where we're on chapter 3 of however many chapters, and I don't know how interesting it is, because it is a visual novel. It's just me reading. It's like if I were sitting over there reading a book, but I'm interested by it, and I don't remember what, oh, we went, the drug people found us, and they're like, hey, you get us our bajillion dollars by tomorrow, and he was like, I can't. And now we're going into the woods to find Banebush and see, like, hey, can you help us by murdering these people? I know murder's not okay, but it's okay in this scenario. But clouds, almost completely hidden by the dense canopy of trees, hovered over the endless forest expanses. Moss, soaked with moisture, spread underfoot like a soft carpet, muffling the sound of footsteps. Oh man, my mouth is dry. Just give me half a two shakes of a rabbit's tail. The air, rich with the scent of soiled and decaying leaves, was damp and heavy, settling in my lungs and clouding my mind. The whisper of the leaves, the occasional snap of twigs underfoot, and the distant cries of birds created the illusion of something. I don't know why I didn't finish it before clicking, but here I felt like an insignificant human and uninvited guest. I feel like I don't really have the right tone for this, but don't worry. Don't even. Thoughts about my past life slowly filled my mind. The endless struggle for money in a quiet corner of the metropolis where each day brought new challenges. The life of a dealer full of fear and the constant threat of disaster poisoned the soul, exposing its flaws. I didn't even notice how I became a paranoid person who, on any ordinary evening, expected someone to break into my house. My imagination painted the faces of people whose lives were poisoned by my dealings, their eyes filled with desperate bitterness. Here in the depths of the forest, all of my past felt like a burden dragging me to the ground, to the realization that I had dug my own grave. And I think the last one ended with him laying in a grave, or the one before, I don't remember, but it's unfair. Why do I have to seek salvation now among these trees and darkness? What will the Banebush do if I find him? If the tale is to be believed, he was a merciless, bloodthirsty creature, angry at the whole world, a maniac who had hidden in these local woods. But what if the tales about Vixie were true, and the Banebush, remembering her, helped the innocent? Remembering her helped the innocent. Like that boy who went into the forest to save the village. If that's the case, I'm screwed. I chuckled. Thoughts about the Banebush and his possible protection no longer brought comfort. They only plunged me into new terror. What if he's not an ally at all, but another threat far scarier than any city gangsters? What if I just die here? I don't even know what's worse, surrendering to the cops or venturing into the forest at night to find the Leshy. What a fucking mess. So I don't really know what a Leshy is. I'm assuming it's like a moss person or like a forest. I don't know, because that's what Banebush is. He's a Leshy, but he's the Banebush. I ventured deeper into the forest, which had already turned into a trap. I felt like I was in the jaws of a giant rabid dog, which were gradually closing, leaving less and less space to breathe. Every rustle, every creak of a branch made my heart skip a beat in fear. He's gone. I remembered again how my grandmother... Oh, she's behind the trees, sitting by the stove and quietly telling me her stories. Remember, Leosha, the forest always watches, she would say, looking straight into my eyes. It knows all your thoughts, senses fear from a mile away. It feeds on it. Now her words echoed in my head like a warning. And he's back. Journeying deeper. Having lost track of time and distance traveled, I tried to suppress the fear within. Suddenly, the deep silence of the forest was pierced by a plaintive howl. I froze. My heart began pounding twice as hard, threatening to burst out of my chest. Holding my breath, I tried to pinpoint where the sorrowful sound was coming from. The howl came again, more insistent this time, as if beckoning me. My heart pounded louder in my chest. An inner voice insistently whispered, wandering aimlessly through the forest won't get me anywhere. Obeying the call, I started moving, slowly drawing closer to the source of the sound with each step. Oh. It's a wolf, stuck in a wolf trap. I pushed through the thicket and emerged onto a clearing bathed in pale moonlight. And there in the moonlight quivered the figure of a large black wolf. A trap had sunk deeply and mercilessly into one of its paws. Whimpering in pain and trembling in a hunched position, the wolf no longer tried to free itself. Its gaze, filled with suffering, pierced me. The animal seemed to hope for my help. Well, what a quest, I thought. I stood frozen, unable to steady the tremble in my hands as if my emotions feverishly jumped from pity to fear. Gathering the remnants of my composure, I approached the wolf. Whoa! He's very, very red. Red eyes, red everything. I mean, the game's red. It's a red game. I examined the trap and immediately realized it couldn't be opened with bare hands. A thin and sharp tool was needed to access the lock mechanism. No, my knife! Maybe it's for the best, I thought. Who knows what might happen if I were to free this wolf. Leave. Is that all I can do? I can't, like... I want to help it. No! What? I can't even try to pry it apart. What? What? Sorry, friend. I can't help you. Trembling from tension, I muttered aloud and quickly backed away. You're telling me you don't have any small, sharp metal tools in that backpack? Sorry. Sure, I felt sorry for the wolf, but I came here to help myself. My hide's worth more to me. I firmly pushed away unnecessary thoughts and kept wandering aimlessly. That sucks. That was the only choice. I was tired, my steps grew clumsy, and my thoughts tangled. Maybe if I didn't draw the knife on them, they wouldn't have taken it. Damn! Damn! But I thought I was gonna, like, slash him, and then he held it out. He's like, get back! Instead of, catching him by off guard. I was tired, my steps grew clumsy, and my thoughts tangled like the interwoven branches above, but I kept walking. Oh! Hello there. I stumbled onto a clearing and barely had time to look around when his tall, twisted figure appeared among the trees. I froze in another wave of terror. There wasn't a single sound around, only my heart pounded with all its strength. A creature resembling a twisted human watched me, extending a hand in my direction. My sanity slipped further away, sinking along with my courage. For a while, I watched the silhouette that had frightened me, but it remained motionless. I slowly moved a bit closer. Well, that's a tree. It has a tentacle. It's a tree tentacle. All classic tree. Stay calm. When I finally dared to approach, it became clear it was just a tree stump. That's a big tree stump. A nervous chuckle escaped my chest, futilely attempting to shake off the tension. I looked closer at the unnaturally twisted tree trunk. On one of the branches, resembling an outstretched arm, hung a fly agaric mushroom. Its crimson hue reminded me of a cigarette ember glowing in the dark. A question echoed in my mind. How could it possibly end up on the branch? As if someone had hung it there just for me. Yeah. The forest seemed especially full of hints today. So should I take it? Am I supposed to eat it? Yeah, let's go. Let's trip on some mushrooms. Unexpectedly for myself, I shouted out loud. My voice echoed through the forest and faded away without receiving an answer. Eat it. Of course. Yes. Oh, yes. Absolutely. Can I? Yes. Of course. Let me just... the fly agaric is poisonous. It's in Sons of the Forest. It hurts. It's fine. It's fine. Everything's okay. It's all right. It's dancing. Okay. It's disappearing. And I am disappearing. The bitterness of the fly agaric slid down my throat, and its pulp reaching the walls of my stomach. The taste of earth and a bittersweet slice of the forest filled my insides. My consciousness slowly dissolved, and the images of trees blurred before my eyes. I wandered aimlessly through the forest, feeling each step reverberate as a pulse in my skull. The tree canopies closed above my head, their rustling growing louder and merging into a swarm of unnatural, oppressive sounds. The ground beneath my feet felt soft and damp, like living flesh, while roots writhed, trying to entangle my legs. Hey! Someone yelled at me from the darkness, forcing me to stop abruptly. My head spun so much that I didn't realize when I had already turned toward the sound. Behind the trees, familiar figures began to emerge. Baring their teeth, they grinned predatorily at me as if I were prey. What the fuck, rat? Trying to lay low in the woods? I'll grind you into the dirt with this whole forest. We'll tear you apart and fertilize the ground with your guts. Got it? Nah, we'll slice you up so every beast in the forest gets a piece. Well, that's generous, and you'll howl like a beaten mountain. Well, if you slice me up into small pieces, you're stupid. You're stupid. If you slice me up into little pieces, I'd be dead. Idiot. I heard their voices, violent horse creeping through the thicket. Each sound turned into a burning ember, painfully melting my brain. These creatures weren't human. I hated them to the point of trembling, the icy venom coursing through my veins. Fucking bastards. I'm running now. I screamed and broke into a run, zigzagging between trees just to stop seeing their faces. Okay. Interesting. I ran for a long time, and when my lungs started burning from within, slowed to a walk, the feeling of an alien presence didn't go away. The shadows of the trees moved in sync with my steps, and I felt deep within that someone or something was always watching me from the depths of the thicket. Peering into the darkness, I saw my grandmother. That doesn't look like her. I wanted to rush forward and hug her, but her face, distorted in a horrifying way, suddenly spoke in a quiet, raspy voice. Once a cowardly boy decided to run away from his troubles, he ventured into the depths of the forest to seek out the Leshy and ask for help. That night, inhuman screams could be heard from the other side of the forest. And what happened to him, Grandma? Just listen! Hashtag. The Leshy slowly tore that bitch apart while he was still wheezing, and the wolves were feasting on whatever fell to the ground. Nice! Nice! I wandered recklessly through the dark thicket, sometimes walking, sometimes breaking into a run without regard for the path. I was lost in time and space. My consciousness was being crushed from within, and my legs trembled so much I could barely move them. The sounds of the forest merged into a quiet whisper, creating a single vibration. Suddenly, from all sides, a heavy, creaky voice sounded. Why did you come to me? Ooh. Help! They want to kill me. My plea sounded pathetic. My voice trembled and my breath came in ragged gasps. The forest was silent. Everything grew quiet, except for the occasional drops of dew falling from the branches to the ground. These were the tears of other losers who had come here like me and couldn't make it back. The voice crackled again. You're not the first to come to me. Ooh. Don't care. Oh, many have sought salvation among my trees. Did they find it? Red dots in my when my eyes are closed. That's not good. My words dissolved into the air, and the forest only listened intently in no hurry to answer. It is alive. The wind was its breath. Its heart beat to the rhythm of a woodpecker's strikes. Its roots intertwined as veins, and millions of worms streamed as blood. Why worms as blood? Why not like a river as blood? Pond blood? Why worms? Worms are not. No. Worms can be veins. You've gone where neither your feet nor your soul should venture. That's a good point. Here blood soaks into the roots more easily than rain. The forest answered me with a rustle that sounded like laughter. The hairs on the back of my neck stood on end. Oh man. Is that him behind the tree? No one leaves here in one piece. Oh, it's a person with a hood on. I'll leave here in 2 pieces, maybe 3. You can have a arm and a leg. What are you talking about? What do you want? Pieces of you. Pieces. Oh, hello there. Sorry if my eyes are like closing and stuff. I'm tripping balls, man. Oh, he looks like a vampire. Dracula. Oh, Dracula? Hello. Standing before me was not the monster I had expected to see. He resembled an old man with a thin, twisted body like dry roots, and his skin was cracked, like wood scorched by lightning. His eyes burned with a crimson fire, like embers in a dying campfire. His clothing was nothing more than rotting rags, except for a tattered red polka dot scarf on his arm. Well, this would be him, because that'd be Vixie's rag polka dot thing. A black hollow gaped in his forehead, resembling a rotted cavity of a tree, oozing thick, dark sludge. It dripped onto the ground, and stench was so overpowering it took my breath away. Oh, my stomach climbed toward my throat. The air around me filled with the stench of decay, and it became hard even to swallow. I stood rooted to the spot, jaw slack, staring at the Leshy until his voice jolted me awake. The eye. Oh, it's Banebush. So it is guaranteed Banebush? What? Your eye worm. Okay. You have my eye, a vile soul, but a sharp eye. Thanks. It's the mushrooms. I'm tripping balls. If you found me. When it dawned on me what he meant, my legs buckled and my vision darkened. Nausea rose to my throat, and I barely held back the urge to vomit. Maybe you need something else instead of my eye? Does he need the eye in the big hole in his forehead? I whimpered the question in a pathetic attempt to bargain with the ancient forest spirit. I wanted to bolt and run, but my legs seemed rooted to the ground, leaving me unable to move. An eye of your life. Choose. Drugs. Pay. I'll pay. Sure. I don't know what you're talking about, so I'll pay. Are you taking my eye? Both my eyeballs? My hands jerked toward my face. The will to live tore me apart, screaming like a wounded animal, drowning out even the terror of what was about to happen. So it is my eyeball. Oh, I could already feel his sharp, thorn-like fingers digging into my eye socket. I wanted to scream, to beg a god I never believed in, but the words stuck in my throat. All that remained was trembling and an all-consuming horror coursing through my veins. My mind simply refused to believe what was happening, but I had already made my choice. I stood there, unable to make a sound, and silently nodded in agreement until fear snapped me back. The pain was unbearable. The world around me exploded in red light. It felt as if a red-hot hook was driven into my eye socket and started pulling. I heard a squelching sound like when something wet is torn away from something sticky. Something wet and something sticky. What would be sticky? What would be... like... I don't know. I can't imagine the sound. I felt nerves and veins tearing, the pulsating eyeball being wrenched from my skull. Warm streams of blood ran down my cheek, filling my nose and mouth, choking me with its metallic, nauseating taste. Ooh, yum, eyeball blood. See, my theory is that he's just tripping on the mushrooms. He thought he saw that, and he's talking to like a tree, and he just ripped out his own eyeball. Through the veil of pain, I heard the screams of creatures that brought me here. Their gut-wrenching cries, steeped in primal terror, pierced the forest. One of them screamed as if being torn apart from within. His voice broke into a rasp, replaced by a gurgling wet sound as though his lungs had turned into a bloody pulp. Someone squealed like a pig at the slaughter, interrupted by the crunch of bones and tearing flesh. I lay there listening to the Leshy tear these bastards apart, their lives fading one by one. At first I wanted to cover my ears, but then I enjoyed hearing it. My lips stretched into a smile on their own, and my chest felt empty and light. I laughed loudly. Is it the people? The guys? The drug people? Everything's red, probably because my eyeball's gone. Enter. Sure, what is this, a doctor's office? Look. Sure. Are you just letting me in here? Ministry of Internal Affairs of the Russian Federation. Oh? Criminal case. Hey, that's me, I think. Incident description. At some distance from the crime, Alexei Smirnov was found unconscious with severe injury, his eye missing. According to initial medication, Smirnov was under the incidence of hallucinogenic mushrooms. A thorough examination of the crime scene was conducted, including photographing and fingerprint protection. Determined I was legally insane at the time of the crime. I was tripping balls. Yeah, it was the guy. Oh, shoot. treatment. Wait, so is it saying that I killed them? All victims died as a result of multiple wounds of inflicted sharp objects. The fingerprints belonging to me were found on the bodies. Blood traces leading to... Great! Great! Oh, the end! Great! You have completed the game for the first time. I'm assuming there's multiple endings. Yeah, endings gallery. How many are there? I'm not going to do them all. There's 6? That's not bad. You know what? We won. They died. We won. So, yeah. Life lesson. Don't trip balls on mushrooms. You'll tear your eye out and stab 3 people to death. But if you made it this far, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks so much for watching. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.